Welcome to the XCFL Primetime Network Playoff Show. Joining you once again is Woody Cincy. Hi and hello and welcome to the XCFL Primetime Network Show. I'm your host, Woody Cincy, and we've got a ton of things going on. You can see up here that we have a ton of things to break from, talking about team news, talking about the playoffs, talking about teams, talking about just about everything you can imagine in this episode. This will be the longest episode. We have 3 different highlight reels. So, obviously the first thing up is going to be our playoff. Welcome back. So obviously that was the highlight reel of the playoff team, so you can see the teams that are involved. We don't have the final matchups and the selections. A lot can change with a couple of games that are happening Saturday night. And pull back the curtain a little bit, this is being produced on Friday. I usually always produce these on Friday, so we still have a lot of things that can change. But 2 things that we know for sure are the Baltimore Ravens will be ran by Benny the Great in just this playoffs, and then he's going to jump off of them. But he has the first round bye, and he is the top team in the AFC. On the NFC side, we have the Washington Redskins, who just did an incredible job of beating Jason's Cowboys. I watched that game. I cannot believe how well Jack played. He's definitely on the playoff hunt. I think this might be his year. Remember, at the beginning of this, I said it would be the Redskins and the Bills, and both of those teams are in the playoffs, and it looks like that might be the best pick for the Super Bowl this year. So, anyways, you can see the other teams that are involved. The big game between the Arizona Cardinals and the Seahawks probably isn't going to be a big game at all, as the Seahawks have already announced that they will be benching all of their starters regardless of being able to win the division. Now that they're in the playoffs, they don't want to risk any injuries. Not sure what the Cardinals plan on doing, but that game is probably going to be closer to Saturday night, right before advance as we get started in the playoffs. On the AFC side, we've got a lot of teams that could still get in, still mix up in there. We have the Steelers led by Jim, who's obviously one of the best defensive minds that we have in the league. He's going in there. We have the San Diego Chargers and Boone, who, I mean, it's just incredible. The man literally has some kind of venereal disease that we don't even know about yet, but he's been going to the clinic every single week, and then he gets back to coach the game. I mean, it's just incredible. And then think about what he's done with Dylan Thomas, who I don't even know who that guy is. I don't even know if I said his name right. I've never even heard of him before this season, and he's making waves with how well he's been playing lately. So we have the Chargers in the playoffs. We also might have the New England Patriots making the playoffs. We have a chance for the Jacksonville Jaguars to make the playoffs. I mean, it's still intense on the AFC side. As far as the NFC side, we have the teams that are going to make the playoffs. We know that it's going to be the Packers. We know it's going to be the Vikings. We know for sure it's the Cardinals. We know it's the Seahawks. We know that it's the Washington Redskins. We know that the teams that are going to be in the playoffs. We don't know what teams will match up. Things could change. And obviously, if the Packers are able to beat the Vikings, they will get that first round bye. But who knows? And we also know, which I didn't mention yet, we have the Atlanta Falcons led by Matty Ice. Changed his number to number 8. Played terrible. Decided to change it back to number 2. Happy they did that. Best decision that they could make. So anyways, thank you so much. And now, for the first time ever, we have an actual press conference by the one and only CJ Smith, who, if you guys have ever met the guy, he's absolutely insane, so I want to give you that warning. His views are his views and his views alone. They are not of the XCFL network. So let's roll the press conference now. Thank you so much for joining me, brother. I wanted to talk about my season, so ask any questions that you want. Yeah, the quarterback has played awesome. I'll tell you that question. Matty Ice, he's the best quarterback in the league, bar none. He's the best. Oh, what? Russell Bussell, whatever his name is. Let me talk about Matt Ryan for a second before we talk about that stupid Seahawks team. One time, Matt Ryan got hurt. He had a little ankle hurt. And so they said, there's no chance that he could play, brother. So what I decided to do is I decided I would play. And because I not only played wide receiver, I also played quarterback in high school. Heck, I played kicker. I played punter. I played middle linebacker. I played defensive tackle. I played defensive end. I played corner. I basically was the only guy on my team. Still the case right now. As the coach of this team, I'm the only one who's any good. So anyways, let me talk. Oh, not the coach. I mean the general manager. Who knows what Listen, let me tell my story, brother. So it was the fourth quarter. There was 1 minute left. And of course, anybody who knows, I went to Polk High. I graduated right under Al Bundy. So anyways, the crowd was going crazy. I hiked the ball. I looked deep. All my wide receivers were covered. So I did what any man would do. I threw it up in the air, and then I went and I ran as fast as I could. And I'm so fast I was able to catch it. And then I got into the end zone and I scored a touchdown, brother. Any other questions? Yeah, good. We'll beat the Cardinals. Listen. Good luck, Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to be there with you, brother. I got ready. I'm ready to go. Put me in, coach. All right, welcome back. So now we're going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, but really we're going to highlight Brian, the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs had a former owner in Huff who had married, probably going to have a couple babies. He's going to be super busy, does train work as well, so his schedule is always hard. So he ended up stepping away, which opened up the Chiefs, and now Brian took that over. Obviously, Brian bounced around from the Saints. But obviously this is going to be his team for the remainder of this year, and then who knows who he picks in the draft that's coming up. So let's highlight why we're picking Brian as one of the teams. Obviously, we have the highlight reel that the Chiefs season in review and how sim he was. But Brian also did other things that brought to the table the new things that we wanted to bring. Brian is awesome at iMovie, way better than this. I mean, obviously I'm talking to you guys, but he has a way to actually do voiceovers. He can actually do his podcast from iMovie. He's just awesome, and he's taught me how to do it, and that's why this highlight reel is going to be so cool, because he's the one who taught me how to do that. So thank you, Brian, and we want to thank him for being part of this league. His podcast is going to be awesome. I mean, it blew my podcast out of the water. We're still going to do the team selections and the team picks, but he's going to do that rivalry podcast, which is one of my favorite things to listen to. I can't wait for the next one because I think it gets some people, really starting to talk, and we get some new rivalries going on in the season. So anyways, thank you so much, Brian, and thank you for joining me. All right, welcome back. So, this is something that is going to surprise a lot of people that are watching this for the first time. Madden 17 is approaching. That's not the news. The news is that we are going to have team selections again. So, we're doing this in a completely different way than we've done in the past. Here's our idea, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask that every single member in the group send me a list of the top 10 teams that they want in order of first being their top ranked team, 10 being their least team, but that team that they would actually control. Then what we're going to do is we're going to have an actual show, we're going to produce, and we're going to make the announcements of the team selections. Hopefully we can get that done by the Super Bowl weekend. Obviously, That kind of depends on how many people send me their messages, and we will also release the order of the picks during that show. The reason we're doing this is because we're getting a lot of new members, a lot of people that were inactive. We want to make sure we're getting a chance to really get people on board for 17 as it approaches and keeping people engaged and active in the league. So I'm hoping that you guys like this. I think it's going to be an awesome way to do it. If you have questions, comments, concerns, you can send any administrator a DM, including myself. Obviously, it's Woody Cincy, and I'll be happy to answer any of those questions. I think this is going to be a new, fresh way to look at it. I think it's going to make a show that's going to be awesome and a classic. So anyways, we look forward to hearing from your teams. Send me a DM. We're doing team selections again for Madden 17. Hopefully we get that done and produced by the Super Bowl either this year or at the beginning of the offseason. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's go into our next segment. Hi, welcome back. It's Woody Cincy once again. And now we're going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles season and Poseidon Chaos. So Poseidon Chaos started off the season pretty hot. His team finished obviously 5-11, pretty disappointing. But some good things that we learned about from Poseidon Chaos himself. The first thing is he absolutely hates Jack in the Box. Jack, the Washington Redskins, ruined any chances of Poseidon Chaos making the playoffs, beating him twice in one day, one in the red zone and then one in XCFL. So now they've got this rift. When I asked Poseidon Chaos what his ultimate goal of next season is, he said, crush Jack. There's even an investigation going on about Bountygate, but not just with his players. He went to other NFL teams and he actually asked them, hey, will you guys hurt any of the Jack in the Box players? Will you eliminate him? Will you beat him? I'll give you draft picks. I'll give you money. This is all stuff that he actually texted and we have recorded, so a huge investigation going on there. But let's talk about some of the good things about the Philadelphia Eagles. We have Carson Wentz, who obviously proved that he is the quarterback of the future. Finished with an 86 quarterback rating. However, no wide receiver went over 1,000 yards. So obviously they have some things to work on. Look for the Philadelphia Eagles to draft some defensive stud and maybe a playmaker here or there on offensive side. But definitely they have the quarterback that they want of the future. That's the good thing. So anyways, Poseidon Chaos, the Philadelphia Eagles, thank you for joining the league. Awesome to have you here. That's the season in review. I hope you enjoyed the highlight reel. Thank you. Thank you for watching XCFL Primetime Network Show.